Hello, everyone, again. This is going to be a fun one. Maria Claudia will talk to us about sustainable tourism. We just heard from the OES about collaboration across the hemisphere to advance sustainable development goals and climate action. Looking at Colombia, we'd welcome your perspectives on opportunities to achieve these goals through sustainable tourism.
Thank you so much. We will try to make it a little bit fun. Tourism is always an experience, and part of what we have seen is that the pandemic set a milestone in the history of tourism. The previous pandemic, we were only counting the number of people traveling. Today, what we're doing, or pandemic, what it did was to allow people to concentrate in climate change and diversity loss, making sustainable tourism the necessity response. What is happening today is that we already changed that and we went back to 2019, meaning that today several issues are asking and demanding countries a new form to do the sustainable tourism. And it's based on tourists. There is no tourism if we don't have tourists. And that demand and what tourists are needing is emphasizing in, we can say, several trends, but based on a Booking Sustainable Report 2023, they establish two that I really think that is very important to highlight. The first one is cost versus sustainable tourism. Definitely, we are seeing that the geopolitical conflicts and the rising of inflation is highlighting the dilemma that people every day have in reducing costs and being able to do a sustainable tourism travel, which normally doesn't match one to the other one. And the result of this report from Booking, that they analyzed 33,000 people's opinion in 35 countries, is that 79% of the travel community mentioned that they would love to travel in a sustainable way in the next 12 months, but 80% mentioned that the higher costs of this travel would not allow them to do so. So this is a dilemma that we have to work on in how we can make an affordable, sustainable tourism international, and if we wanted to implement that in each of our country, how we do that. The second one is the impact in certification of sustainable alternative. 70% of those community travelers, of people traveling, mention that they are willing to travel to an accommodation or any services in sustainable tourism if they do have a certified or label that approves that their impact is actually doing something for the sustainable tourism. And nowadays, we have several different types of certifications, but there are not enough knowledge from the tourist perspective of which one are the ones that really they can rely on. And 56% of the travelers mention that there is not enough sustainable options. So when we get into those 2 points of affordable versus sustainable travel, certification and confidence that they will be doing an impact, we have to think about of how we can implement that in each of our country based on 3 areas. The first one is public policy. Definitely, there is a need of public policy, not to establish a norm, because, for example, in Colombia, we do have very robust policy regarding sustainable tourism, but we don't implement them. And part of the constraint that we have, the challenge that is worldwide in applying the SDG objective, is how we can pass from writing the law to implementing the laws and doing actions regarding the impacts that we have to do. The second one is the resources. Colombia is one of the most biodiverse countries in the world. However, we do not have a what, when, and how we can develop that resources. And part of what we are seeing in tourism is that people want to do tourism because of 2 things. nature and culture. You can put experience around it, but it's nature and culture what driven the look of each one of us looking for a experience worldwide. If we do not have a product that we know the options of what we wanted to promote and propose with the policies that we can implement, the resource will maintain as a resource, but not something that will provide an opportunity to develop the sustainable tourism. And the third one, and I think is one of the most important one, is investment. We cannot continue to talk about sustainable tourism if we do not apply the policy, make the investment, and allow tourists to have the certification and as well as an opportunity and experience that is affordable for them. Today, Colombia, for example, 93% of the business community related to sustainable tourism, or actually to tourism, is micro business, is not even medium-sized business. They do not have the resources to apply the sustainable needs in their services or accommodation, meaning that if we do not work in re-engaging the alliance between public and private sector in order to provide the necessities that small, medium-sized companies need, even micro in our country, there is no way that we're going to be able to have a future in sustainable tourism.
Thank you so much. Very interesting, this new industry and the challenges that it poses to all of us. Thank you so much.